what do we see in people with secure attachment? So one thing that we see is that they're able to use metacognitive skills. They can think about their own thinking. They can think about the mental states of others. And they actually integrate emotion, somatic information, and cognitive information. And then this brings about balanced information processing. And here I'm drawing from the work of Patricia Crittenden. Very good. All right. So now let's talk about a specific set of metacognitive skills. And to be clear, this is applicable. Like you can actually use this information, especially when you're trying to resolve unresolved issues, resolve unresolved trauma, and so forth. So, and then here I'm drawing from the metacognitive interpersonal therapy of DiMaggio. So first we identify what are like what am I experiencing? Like, oh yeah, here's an image thought. Oh yeah, here's this emotion. Okay, this is how I'm like literally thinking of myself in the world. This is how I'm relating to the world and so forth. So we identify. Then we relate variables. We see how, let's say, an intention impacts behavior. We see how, for example, that, oh yeah, look, I see the other person is angry. This is how it affects me. Then it affecting me this way, this is the strategy that I use to deal with this. And like, let's give an example of like how this might work. So it's like, okay, I see the other person's angry. Then I then kind of respond with submissiveness. That would be something more that we would more so see in dismissing attachment. Or we see the other person's angry and then we kind of double down on our anger and then kind of overpower the other person with anger. And we kind of come into a state of like, maybe even kind of like self-righteousness or like being the victim or something like that. And then, but again, coming back to how to process these things metacognitively, it's like, ah, yeah, look, I respond to his anger this way. Very good. All right, the next metacognitive skill is differentiation. So this is like seeing, ah, yeah, look, this is a mental state. This is my coping strategy. And then being able to just understand, like, this is a mental state. It's nothing more. It's valid. It's important. We don't want to dismiss our mental states, but we also just want to see them as mental states. And in a sense, this is to take a balanced view. More verbiage for this is reality appearance distinction. So like, I feel this way. This feeling is valid, but this feeling may or may not be a reliable indicator for how life is. And, you know, this kind of loosens up how we experience our reality. All right. The next skill is decentration. So this is to the skill of disidentifying with our experience. And now also this needs to be done in a balanced way. Like if we entirely disidentify from our experience, well, there's a name for that. It's called dissociation. And generally speaking, that's not the optimal way to interface with your own experience. But again, it is important to be able to step out of your experience and kind of look at it a little bit more objectively. And at the same time, I want to reiterate, you need to embody your own experience and fully experience what your emotions, your thoughts, and have them at least be subjectively valuable to yourself. Another skill is integration. So this is like being able to, for example, think about some sort of generally interpersonal experience where maybe you felt threatened. Think about it in such a way that you can integrate it all together, kind of create a coherent storyline. You can kind of make your judgments. You can have your emotions. You remember the content of what happened, and then you bring it all together in a balanced way that again, validates your perspective, but also you don't want to get stuck in your perspective. You want to make space for how the other person might view things, and so forth. And then mastery. Mastery is, so the example that I use for mastery is just being able to self-soothe. Like, okay, all right, this sucks. I'm upset. It's okay to be upset. And then further on that vein, I think also compassion is very important as like we'll call it a manifestation of the skill of mastery. So it's like, oh, look, like due to causes and conditions, this hurt me. Like this made me feel threatened. And also, of course, compassion towards other. Oh, look, again, due to causes and conditions, this was damaging. This was harmful to the other. The other felt threatened. And maybe, for example, and this is here kind of both using the integration skill and the mastery skill or compassion. It's like, okay, this person felt threatened in this situation. I can understand that. I can see the suffering of that. And I can also take these causes and conditions into account when I, for example, understand how maybe the person all of a sudden became irrational, maybe became aggressive or something. And then seeing that's valuable, it's important. But at the same time, we don't dismiss our own experience. It's like, okay, well, yeah, sure, this person had their reason for getting really upset, getting emotionally dysregulated. I can understand that. And also it hurt me. It made me feel threatened. And maybe I responded in this other, we'll call it less than fully reflective way. Sorry.